final section as well, Aaron. Obviously, Dominik Szoboszlai. I love him. I absolutely love him, mate, and I know you do. And he's a phenomenal footballer. He's an integral cog, not just for Liverpool, but obviously for the Hungarian national side as well. Firstly, how are Hungary getting on, and mainly obviously Dominik Szoboszlai, the captain of the national side, for any Liverpool fans that didn't know anyway. But yeah, how well was the previous result for Hungary? Was it a 2-1 win recently? This week?
Yeah, as of this recording, we won yesterday 2-1. It was not convincing, however. We have some problems, mainly, funny enough, at the midfield, because we had a really good lineup and an idea, but the players that did well in that area are either getting old or got injured and did not get back to the same level of intensity. And you know how it is with smaller nations, because we don't have a huge talent pool to pick from, so it's always difficult to have these. But with Szoboszlai he's very interesting if you compare his Liverpool role to his national team role, because I don't know if the coach asks him or if he just feels like he has to help everybody at every single time. He's everywhere, but my main issue is that he's dropping deep so much. Yesterday, I've seen him across the defensive line. So it's because he's the best at distributing the ball to dictate the tempo and all these sort of skills that apparently we do not have other players. But because he is playing so deep, even though he starts these movements, we don't have an end product, or we just can't see it through. So I would like to see him to be more involved at the attacking area, which, funny enough, is always something that I read about him for Liverpool as well, because most people just see the numbers like, okay, but what about the goals, the assists, and all these sort of things? Because when I think when he signed, there was this not false narrative, but all these like, oh, he's the Hungarian Gerrard and he's gonna be so good, and look at the crazy goals he scored, and
It's
entirely
difficult.
different.
It's difficult, isn't it? Yeah, it's difficult. Steven Gerrard, there's no way like he can be that good, mate. But yeah, it's difficult, mate. And as you allude to, it's interesting that you mentioned obviously picking up a bit more of a like I think we're classed as like the 6 role or like a 6/8. But I think going forward, I've got a question that I'll ask you at the back end of the show as well, in terms of how well suited from a tactical point of view as well for Liverpool. But yeah, that's very interesting, mate. Do you think those goals and assists will eventually come at Liverpool, or it's difficult? Because I think when I've watched some Hungary games, obviously in the last tournament as well, I think obviously you smashed qualification in the qualifying stage, was it year before last anyway? And then it's difficult when you come up against bigger, more structured teams in terms of like with Liverpool. Obviously, we come up against teams that are very low block, very defensive. Would you say obviously that there's more space for Dom in an international stage, and from a Hungary perspective, he's got a bit more license to roam and create and score, really, for you?
Generally speaking, he always has a lot of freedom for Hungary. Because he has the energy and work rate to make it work, and also the intelligence. I always make these examples of when Kerkez flies up for Hungary. He is almost the only person who realizes like, oh, okay, there's a huge gap. I should probably move there. And these movements go so unnoticed a lot of times that you have to like be at the games and look out for like, oh, he's doing that. Because when you just sit down, watch telly, you don't see these sort of things, or you don't necessarily realize that is what's happening. So I'm rambling a little bit, but that's his freedom is always there. We have a lot of issues with low blocks, actually, because other than Dominik, we don't really have these sort of creative players who can make something happen. And if you watch Hungarian games, you can also see a lot of times when he tries a clever pass, it's a great through ball, but he does not have Mo Salah or Luis Diaz to make the run for it. And when the his teammates realize what they were supposed to do, it's already too late. So it's a little bit of an issue for Hungary. For Liverpool, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think by now he is an established first team player, so there's probably less pressure on him. The first year was not too lucky from his perspective, I think, with injuries, with the depleted midfield, so many red cards. He always had to just defend a lot when it could have been the game where he scores a few more goals. So I think he was a little bit unlucky at the first year, but he did okay. Now he did much better, in my opinion. I'm very happy to hear that you like him, because I like him as a player a lot as well. I'm a little bit sad that he did not have more time with Klopp, because it just felt like such a great like matchup to have this player under Klopp. Just such a Klopp-coded player. But I'm over with that. I'm happy with Slot as well, because he's more tactical. So I think he can learn a lot from him as well. I'm hoping that the changes that I spoke about earlier will allow him to have more assists. There's going to be so many more movements and players running into channels that I'm hoping that will bring more assists for him. I'm not sure about goals, because for whatever reason he's not shooting as much as he used to do. I don't know what about that. Maybe it's something that he's being asked, or he just didn't feel comfortable enough. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I think I concur. I'd agree with obviously what you mentioned with Klopp. I think both of them. I think both personalities, both the way both managed, and obviously Dom plays. He plays with a lot of freedom. Really, he's a lad that works extremely hard, as you've alluded to. In terms of going into, just in terms of, I think you mentioned the season before. In terms of how well have you been? How proud have you been of Dominik in terms of how well he's fitted in regards to a Arne Slot system, and in terms of obviously the season he's just had, and for my analysis really, but most importantly, more interested in what you think, Aaron, in terms of that. I love him. I think he's still got levels to reach in regards to his development, but in terms of your analysis from last season, in terms of how he impacted the game, how he impacted the team, is there still levels in terms of him? Obviously, he's still only 22 years old as well, so he's got plenty of years ahead of him. How excited are you in regards to obviously him in an Arne Slot system? Do you think there's still levels for his game to elevate, to go to?
I'm really hoping to. I can see he's an interesting character, because he's one of those people who are seemingly never satisfied. When I did 9 good games out of 10 moves, but there's that one. How can I make it 10 out of 10? He's such a perfectionist of a character that I think helps him to be driven all the time, because he wants to do better and better, and it's not enough, and I want to push myself to do well. And I can see the frustration when for example, in the national team, when things don't go well, you can see that he's really trying to do whatever he wants to solve it somehow. And this mentality is that I believe that he can still grow and he can still be better. And I'm really confident in him, because I can see from the backstage videos and how he behaves. I really like the pictures at the bus when they were around the city. You can tell that he's having a good time. He is accepted. He likes his teammates. The teammates like him. And it's really, really important. It's a group effort all the time, and from what I see, he enjoys being there with these players, with this level, and that also pushes him okay, we have these talented guys, we have such a good team, we have to make work of it. And you can tell he's really disappointed if they don't have a specific result. He was devastated when the Champions League knockout started, and very quickly Liverpool was knocked out from a penalty shootout. And it's not like, oh, I gave the ball to Darwin Núñez and then he didn't score, and like, oh, why didn't he do that, or those sort of things. But he knows the quality. He understands what this group of players is capable of, and if they don't reach that, that frustrates him, and that's why he is going to, for a few years, I think he can still grow, and then I hope that he can maintain that level, because we need him in Hungary as well. Plus, we want to see. I mean, how often can a Hungarian guy be such an important figure at a title contender in a top league? We have to enjoy that. I want it to take as long as it can be. I just want to see how it goes and just want to go along with the ride.
Yeah, it's just about getting the opportunity as well, mate. I think you and obviously the Hungarian fans out there as well be very proud, certainly, and rightly so as well. One of your star players doing it at one of the biggest clubs in European football, and yeah, it's only going to benefit from my outside view, from an international point as well in terms of football. I think it'll only bode well for the Hungarian national side. It'll improve his overall performances. He'll bring out the best of other players in that squad as well. So it's very exciting, certainly, Aaron. And the final question really wants to ask you, and wants to obviously get your great insight, is obviously the number 8 position possibly. Obviously, we've seen Arne Slot set him a 4-2-3-1 system. I think there's been a lot of rotation of obviously Dom playing in that number 10 role, but obviously in certain games a number 8 position as well. What would you feel in your analysis his best position for Liverpool going into next season and beyond as well?
I think it has to be a number 8.
Yeah.
Because if I think through logically, I don't want him to be a 6, because he's good in front of the goal as well. So it feels like a missed opportunity if he is too far away from the goal and the action up front or in the final third. So I don't feel that's good enough for him. I think number 10 could work out, but from what I see, that's not something that Slot is using in a traditional sense.
Yeah.
So without that, we land on number 8, which is obviously it's a really good fit for him because of the intensity, the work rate. I don't want to repeat myself and bore you to death, but all these attributes and skills that he has, it's a really good mixture. And I think again his distribution is really good in my opinion. So if you put a lot of attacking players that he can pass the ball to, then that's going to work out just as fine, in my opinion. So I would say at this point, from what we know, it has to be the number 8.
Yeah, spot on.
It's in the back of his shirt anyways.
Yeah, that's all good. That's how, yeah. And he's doing really well. And long may that continue as well, Aaron. But Reds, that draws a conclusion to this afternoon's episode with Aron Aranyossy as well. It's been fantastic insight from you, and it's very much appreciated from me and every single Liverpool fan out there. Aaron, massive thank you for giving all your great insight on all the players that we've mentioned in today's podcast as well, Aaron. But as always, Reds, a massive thank you for tuning in. Make sure you do drop a like on the video as well, and do get involved on all social media platforms as well. And yeah, Aaron, thank you for joining me this afternoon, buds.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And Reds, look after yourself. Hit that subscribe button down below. Drop a like on the video. And yeah, there's plenty of more great content to come as well. But Reds, you never walk alone. And that's been Anfield Index. Media Matters. Cheers.